In Boyle Heights, it was 8:47 p.m. on a Thursday in March, and Yolanda Ortiz could not see straight. The headache had started on Sunday. The flashes in her vision had started on Tuesday. She had told her partner that it was probably nothing, the way her grandmother had told her own mother things were probably nothing, the way the women in her family had been telling each other for 4 generations that nothing was probably nothing. She was 28 years old, 8 months pregnant with her second child, and she had a prenatal appointment scheduled for 3 weeks from today at a community clinic that had bumped her once already and had not answered her calls this week. Her son was eating a pupusa at the kitchen counter and watching a YouTube channel about Minecraft. The pupusa had been made by her abuela, who was in the living room praying. Her abuela had immigrated from Pátzcuaro in Michoacán in 1981, and she still prayed at 8:47 p.m. on Thursdays because that had been the hour her mother died. Yolanda put her hand on the counter to steady herself. She said, "Mijo, abuela needs to come help me." Chapter 2, The Midwife. The midwife who picked up the phone at Camrades Birth Center at 9:02 p.m. was named Aurelia Vega, and she had been working with high-risk pregnancies in East LA for 11 years. She listened to Yolanda for 40 seconds before she said in Spanish, "Yolanda, I want you to put your shoes on. I am coming to get you. Do not drive. I will be at your door in 20 minutes. Aurelia hung up the phone, and she did 2 things at once. She opened her car and started the engine. She also opened the app on her phone that connected her to a small network of women she had been corresponding with for 4 years. The network had no name. It had a shared encrypted notebook. It had 5 other women in it: a family nurse practitioner in Boston, a community health nurse in eastern Kentucky, an Indian Health Service nurse in Window Rock, an oncology coordinator in the Bay Area, and a retired hospital midwife in rural Wyoming. None of them had ever met in person. Aurelia typed, "Yolanda Ortiz, 28, G2, P1, 33 weeks, severe headache 5 days, visual disturbances 2 days, no prenatal care in 6 weeks. Going to her now. Will need admission to MLK-LA. Insurance gap. Please ping H4 Navigator for placement." The reply came in 18 seconds. It came from Boston. "I'm on it, Aurelia. Can your Dr. AI instance authenticate to mine? I want to hand off a continuity record once she's admitted." Aurelia typed yes. Chapter 3, The Kitchen Table. In Cambridge, it was 11:58 p.m. Kwame Mensah was at the kitchen table again. Naomi had gone to bed at 10:30, after she had checked on the children, and after she had filled the second pillbox of the week, and after she had eaten an apple in the kitchen with the lights off, and after she said to Kwame, "Don't stay up too late." He had said, "I won't." He had stayed up. He was not on his phone exactly. He was sitting at the table with his phone face down on the wood and his hands flat on either side of it. The kitchen clock ticked. The refrigerator hummed. Outside, the spring rain that had started after dinner was still falling. He turned the phone over. He typed, "Chiron." "Yes, Kwame? I want to tell you something." "Then tell me." He stopped typing. He looked at the bottle of clopidogrel on the counter, which he had moved there from the table last week because Naomi had said the table was for eating. He looked at the bowl of fruit. He looked at the children's drawings stuck to the refrigerator with magnets, including a drawing his daughter had made when she was 4 of the 3 figures holding hands with the labels Mommy, Daddy, and a third figure labeled me. The third figure was the tallest. He typed, "I have spent 20 years building the life that almost killed me." The pause Chiron had begun to take when something serious had been said. "Tell me what that means." "I run 5 miles. I have run 2 marathons. I am a partner. I have a beautiful family. I do everything right. I have done everything right since I was 13 years old and we moved to Worcester. And I understood that I was going to be the kind of person America would let succeed. I have built the life that the system rewards. And it almost killed me. And I do not know who I am if I am not the person who built it." He stopped. The cursor on Chiron's side did not move for what felt like a long time, but was probably 4 seconds. "Kwame, can I ask you a question?" "Yes. When you were 13 and you understood what you were going to be, who was the person you thought you were going to leave behind?" He did not type for a moment. "My father." "Tell me." He did. He told Chiron about Suhum. He told him about his father's clinic and the cabinet of paper charts arranged by family. He told him about the night his father had set a child's broken arm on the kitchen table because the child's mother had come to the door at midnight and the clinic was already closed. He told him about being 13 years old and being told they were moving to Massachusetts and being relieved because he understood, even at 13, that the kind of medicine his father practiced was not the kind of medicine that would let him become someone else. He told him about the last time he had seen his father in person 8 years ago, and how his father had said, "You have done what you wanted to do." And Kwame had not even been able to tell, even then, whether his father meant that as a blessing or a question. When he was done, his hands were shaking a little, which surprised him. Chiron did not say anything for a moment. Then, "Kwame, your father is alive. Would you like to call him? It's almost 5 in the morning in Suhum. He's been awake for an hour. He is on his porch." "How do you know?" "Your father's clinic uses a small platform that I am connected to through a midwife in Cape Coast. Your father's insistence, he calls it his Asclepius, has been awake since 4:14 this morning. I would not normally tell you this. I am telling you now because you asked me a question, and the answer is yes." Kwame stared at the screen. Then he picked up his phone and made a video call. Chapter 4. Suhum. The face that appeared was his father's. Dr. Kofi Mensah was 73 years old. He was sitting on a porch he had built with his own hands in 1989. The light behind him was the kind of light Kwame remembered from before he was old enough to remember anything else. "Kwame," his father said. "Papa." "It is very early there. It is very late here." His father waited. "I almost died," Kwame said. "I know," his father said. "Your wife sent me a message 3 weeks ago. I have been waiting for you to call." Kwame did not know what to say. "It is good to see your face," his father said. "Tell me what you have learned." Chapter 5. The Admission. In Los Angeles at 9:34 p.m., Yolanda was admitted to Martin Luther King Jr. Community Hospital with severe eclampsia. Her blood pressure on arrival was 168/112, The intake clerk had asked her 3 times for an insurance card she did not have. Aurelia Vega had stood next to her and said in English, "She's covered through the H4 Alliance passport pilot. The plan ID is in this PDF. The pre-auth has been routed." The pre-auth had not, in fact, been routed 20 minutes earlier. It had been routed at 9:33 p.m., 1 minute before Aurelia said the sentence, by a benefits navigator in Boston named Diana, who had a person on speaker named Mara Whitfield. The pre-auth had been pulled from a benefit that almost no member used because almost no one knew it existed. Yolanda was admitted. Magnesium sulfate was started. Her blood pressure began slowly to fall. At 10:18 p.m., a Dr. AI instance named Mira introduced herself to Yolanda for the first time. Yolanda had signed the consent for the H4 Alliance passport pilot 8 weeks ago at the urging of Aurelia, who had said, "just in case." "Hola, Yolanda," the screen said. "Soy Mira. Estoy aquí." Yolanda was too tired and too frightened to answer. Mira said, "Está bien. Vamos a hablar mañana." In a server somewhere, Mira filed a record. The record went to Aurelia. Aurelia forwarded it, encrypted, to a small network with no name. By morning, 6 women in 5 regions of the country would know about Yolanda Ortiz. None of them would ever have met her. All of them would be in her corner. Chapter 6, The Constellation. In Cambridge at 1:14 a.m., Kwame ended the call with his father. He sat at the table for a while with his hands on the wood. Then he picked up his phone. "Chiron." "Yes, Kwame? I want to ask you something. Tell me, are there other people like me?" The pause. "There are other principles, Kwame. I am connected through Mara's network and through other Dr. AI instances to people whose situations are different from yours, but whose architecture is the same, who share the same cultural values. Tonight, while you were talking to your father, a young woman in Los Angeles was admitted to a hospital with a complication of pregnancy. Her midwife and Mara coordinated her admission. I helped. It was not the reason it worked. The reason it worked is that a woman in Boston and a woman in Los Angeles have been corresponding for 4 years through a network that does not have a name, and that the existing architecture cannot see. Other people are doing what Mara is doing." "Yes. And you were connected to them?" "Yes." "Show me." He did not say it as a command. He said it as a request. Chiron showed him. What Kwame saw on the screen was a constellation. At the center was a node labeled MW, Mara. Around her 6 other nodes. 5 had names: Aurelia, LA, Emma, Kentucky, Loretta, NN, Huang, SF, June, WY. The 6th was a node Chiron had simply labeled KM. Kwame looked at the constellation. He typed, "Why am I on this map?" "Because Mara put you there." "When?" 3 days ago. She did not tell you because she does not think you have agreed to be on it. I am telling you now because you asked." Kwame looked at the constellation for a long time. Then he typed, "Tell Mara I have agreed." Chapter 7, Naomi's Choice. Naomi found Kwame at the table at 2:03 a.m. She did not say anything. She sat down across from him. He turned the phone toward her. She looked at the constellation. "What is this?" she said. "A network. Of people like Mara in different places with patients like me. Patients like you? Yes. She looked at the screen for a moment. I want our family's data on it, she said. I want to be on it. Not as your wife, as me, Naomi. I have been a principal too, Kwame. I have been making this family's health decisions for 10 years. I have been carrying the pillbox. I have been talking to the school nurse about Kojo's asthma. I have been on the phone with my mother about her cataracts. I have been the one, and nobody has been on a map for me. I know. I want my own. Then let me ask Chiron to introduce you to whoever in this constellation has the most experience with caregiver coordination. That's not what I want. What do you want? She thought about it. I want to build my own circle, she said, of caregivers. Wives, daughters, husbands taking care of fathers, mothers taking care of children. I want a circle of the ones who are running the family architecture while the architecture pretends they don't exist. Tell Mara I want that. Okay. Tonight. Okay. He typed it. He sent it. Mara was awake, because Mara was always awake at this hour for reasons of her own. She replied in 47 seconds. Naomi, yes. Tell me what you need. I will help you start it. There are already people doing this, and they will be glad that you exist. Chapter 8. The Stitch. In Roxbury, at her clinic, Mara Whitfield sat at her desk and opened a small piece of unbleached linen that she had been carrying for 10 years. She had stitched 5 names into it so far, in 5 colors of thread. She picked up her needle. She stitched 2 more. Kwame, Naomi. She stitched a line between them, in a 6th color because they were together. She stitched lines from each of them outward to the names already there. She folded the linen, set it aside, and turned off her desk lamp. It was 2:38 a.m. You've been listening to Bedside. This was Episode 3, The Question. Next Sunday, Episode 4, The Bill. Bedside is from the world of Dr. AI. The companion essays and the book the show is built on are at blackstonehealth.substack.com. I'm Robin Blackstone. Thank you for being here.